Taking off in 5, 4, 3, 2. Yo, 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 yo. It's your boy. T, as you know.
It's your boy O-Rain, real name, no games, no gimmicks.
Yo, it's the motherfucking Fade Podcast, your one-stop shop for everything TV, media, and film related, along with any of the goddamn thing we want to talk about, coming to you live direct. Proof Concept Studios. What the fuck is up? What's going on?
Yo, it's been a good week. I've been doing a little bit of traveling.
Yeah,
I was out in Portland.
Globetrotting. What are you out there doing in Portland? What's going on out there?
Family trip,
Okay.
visiting.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with the city, so it was nice to be back out there. Weather was beautiful. Went to soccer games, checked out Nike headquarters, all the new buildings and shit.
Yeah.
It was a dope little trip. Nice little getaway.
Nice. Was it just for the weekend or was it for the whole week or something like that?
What was it Thursday to Sunday? So
Okay.
nice little three day
I like
trip.
those. I like those trips because it's just enough where you don't you get away, but not enough where coming back is why am I where am I coming back to? What am I doing coming back?
Yeah, so I got there. I think I got there Thursday, and then I left Sunday morning. So you're right, just enough time. But my flight home, it was a 12-hour day. This was Southwest wasn't doing any direct flights, so it was layover in Chicago. It was a 3-hour layover, and it's fuck, what do I do? I just sat at the bar and drank, ordered some food. People watched, all that shit, and then the flight got delayed an hour and a half, which sucked. But thanks for reminding me. I gotta call Southwest Airlines.
Yeah.
Complain.
I'm gonna be
this was. What do white people say? It was this is unacceptable.
This is unacceptable.
I'm an
sir.
American. Goddamn it.
You know what I was I was walking on a train or walking to the train rather. Or metro rather. And I was watching these two white dudes who were walking.
It's still a train, right?
I mean, but I like to differentiate. You know what I mean? I catch the train back or whatever. So I catch the train as the main thing, but I take the metro to get from one little stop to another. Anyways, whatever.
Same thing.
All right. Minute differences. But I was watching these two white dudes who were just walking. These older white dudes, probably working in private enterprise or some sort of governmental whatever, right? But I was watching the way that they were walking, right? They were walking. There's a certain way people walk when they don't have deep worries, or at least any financial burdens around their neck, or they just walk with a certain swag that's just yeah, I don't have to worry about too much.
It's a lightness to it.
I don't
know
care.
about you guys.
Exactly. And it's just it kind of they're never really in a, you know what I notice about people like this? They're never in a hurry. You know what I mean? They're never in a rush to get somewhere. It's always just it's cool.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
My dad's a senator.
Yeah.
But is it also a good thing? You know what I mean? Even if you have a lot going on, sometimes, it might just be maybe if you go to New York, everybody's moving fast, right? You go to other cities, you go to West Coast, people are taking their time a little bit more. I don't know. I think it's kind of a good thing. Slow down a little bit. Sometimes you just gotta say fuck it. The cards will fall however they fall.
Yeah. When
you're a white man, you kind of do have that luxury of being it'll all work out.
It's fine. It's fine. Nothing usually is past nothing is irredeemable, I guess.
Yeah.
When
I could always get it
dude.
back.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But anyways, anyways, I was observing them walking, and I was and I wasn't looking at them enviously, right?
Yeah.
It just amazed me. It's just they just walk not a care in their fucking world.
Yeah.
It's I'm in a fucking rush trying to get everywhere, trying to hustle, trying to do this and that. And
you know what I think about sometimes? What would it be like to just be a beautiful white woman for the day, and just doors just open for you? Just
nah, because
well.
then I think we make fun of Karens, right? And we say, oh, Karens are the worst. But I feel everybody has the capacity to be Karen if they were afforded the same luxuries in life that the Karens get. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we're not talking about them. We're talking about just a random, pretty blondes, doors just open. Oh, come in. It's just like your whole day is just like, yeah, come in.
I don't know, man. I get where
random people pay for your meals and your drinks.
Like I get where you, and I know what you're not trying to say is like, oh, like I wish I was that, right? Like that's not what you're saying. You're just saying I wish I would just one day, just experience what it's like.
You know
right?
what I mean?
There is like no part of me, like how some people grow up and they kind of like they try to adapt to certain circles in order to, I guess, by proximity, like benefit from that. I've never in my life like once felt that I had to like be one thing or another. Like I've always just been me. I've always just been.
You'll never see me wearing like
comfortable. Being
you'll never see me
black,
wearing
dude.
a polo and the khaki shorts and like the Sperry boat shoes. Like you know what I mean? Like trying hard to fit it.
I'll fuck with some Sperry's.
I fuck with Sperry's, but I'm not gonna do the whole outfit. You know what I mean? I'll wear a polo,
like
but
with
it's not gonna be
the collar popped up.
Yeah, I'll never do the collar.
Yeah, your middle name's Chad.
Yeah, fuck no. With the hat backwards. Oh no,
the
no
trucker
sir.
hat.
Yeah, no sir.
Dude, let's get into the headlines here, man. We've missed some things. This Monday routine is throwing me off a bit. I don't know what to follow, when to follow it. But what I do know is that there's some movies that are coming out this particular week. Some bangers, movies and shows, I should say. I threw this one on the list because I knew you'd be into it. I'd never watched the movie, but I know you watched 365 Days, right? It was like kind of like an erotic thriller type of situation.
Yeah. That movie was fucking insane. You gotta watch it, bro. Like you're just gonna be like, for a second, you're gonna be like, what the fuck is going on here?
Well, so I might have to watch it because the 365 Days this day is dropping this week, which I haven't seen the trailer for it, but I'm sure it's just as absurd as the movie that preceded it. But I decided to throw that on the list because I know you watched it and you thoroughly got a kick out of it. So.
So the first one I saw on Netflix. I'm guessing this is a Netflix project?
Netflix. Yeah,
okay,
Netflix. Gotcha. I'll also drop it on Netflix. End of an era, my God. Like, rarely do we see characters come along like this that we're like, yo, you one of the ones, right?
Yeah. This is Blacklist, Raymond Reddington?
No. Ozarks. Marty Bird.
Yes.
The final part to season 4, part 2 to season 4 drops this week.
And we watched the trailer last episode, and I think we were both on the same page. It was like, yo,
she was with the shits.
Yeah.
She was like, yo, I don't give a fuck. Marty, this dude fucking who runs the cartel, I don't care. I'll spray all of them.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to be strapped this season. Like, Rufus strapped, Wendy's strapped, Marty might even be strapped.
Nah, Marty got a stay strap. But although I guess they make it very apparent that like his superpower is just shit with the computer. That's how he breaks
his way with words and reason, right?
Exactly.
Marty
he can talk his way
out
out of a situation
with anybody. But I feel like even this last season, he might have to strap up.
Yo, who do you want to talk you out of a situation? Who's your person? Have you ever watched Mad Men?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, Don Draper or Marty Bird? Who do you want in your corner when you gotta have somebody talk that talk to get you out of a jam?
Well, I feel
who's the guy?
I feel like we're missing a couple, right?
Okay.
So we're missing dude from Power, who was Tommy and Ghost lawyer. The guy who played Turtle.
Nah, he was a little too nervous for me. He you know what I mean? A little too squirrely. He had too many things going on. You know what I mean? He wasn't concentrated on my deal. He had his own shit going on.
Yeah.
So I don't know about him. I don't know.
But I mean, he got them out of some like jams. He got them.
He did.
He helped them beat a double, triple murders. Then
they had video of it.
Yeah. And then you got Saul Goodman.
Saul. Yeah,
you
yeah.
got Saul. Okay. You got to throw him in there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So I'm going to leave the list at there because you can go on a little bit more.
Yeah.
But, it might be... But see, Marty Bird, his profession is like an accountant.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's not really
I don't know if he knows like the nuances of the law. So I'm going to
But
go
dude,
with...
you know how many times somebody pulled a 9 on him and he somehow just walked away without even a fucking a graze of a bullet?
That is true.
You know what I mean? Like that takes talent, my dude. Like to be up against it and to never really get scathed. Like, yo, my dude had him in like a fucking basement or like fucking dungeon.
Yeah.
And somehow he talked his way up out of there.
True. But I'm still gonna go with Joe Proctor. played by Jerry Ferrera.
I think your
Just because
bias is
just because
clouding your judgment
one,
here.
he can legally represent you. I don't know if Marty Bird can because he hasn't passed the bar.
He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to.
I don't
Just
know.
talk that talk.
Maybe we could settle out of court, but if it goes to trial, I won't joke.
Fair enough. Talking about what's coming out next week, man. Ooh, things. What was Drake's? My favorite Drake album. Nothing was the same, and that's what we'll be saying after Doctor Strange 2: Multiverse of Madness drops.
Yeah,
nothing will be the same. Shit is going to change for good. We're probably going to get some X-Men, probably some Fantastic Four. Who else is going to be throwing up in there? Probably getting Tom Cruise is probably making an appearance as maybe a different variant of Iron Man. Maybe Scarlet Witch is about to go crazy. You know what I mean? Doctor Strange is obviously about to go crazy.
Yeah, I really do want to see what happens with Scarlet Witch because I remember in the trailer she's like, "Well, if you mess with time,
she's menacing, dude.
You're like." Nothing happens to you, but if I mess with time,
if I was Elizabeth Olsen's, I don't know who her significant other is, but if I'd be looking at her a little different after that. She said that a little too slickly.
What?
Where she was like, "Oh, you just get to mess with time, or you just get to." She said that like it was a little sinister how she said that. I don't know. It made me nervous. Like, hold on.
I do kind of think what her and Doctor Strange did are different. She like mentally enslaved a whole city for like.
Well, okay, no. What Doctor Strange did was worse. That was worse. Like it was the entire world.
Okay. All right,
just erase somebody from everybody's memory.
Yeah,
that's worse.
Well, no, is it?
It is worse. It is worse. Because at least you could argue that Scarlet Witch just like released everybody at the end. Doctor Strange is that's just reality from now on.
I feel like he just didn't erase enough people. You should erase the right people, like fucking Kellyanne Conway and Mitch McConnell. Like erase them too.
Yeah, he stopped short. So we might have to get him on that. So there's are movies coming out this week, next week, and shows obviously. So let's jump into some headlines, dude. Elon Musk. So the Tesla era has begun for Twitter. I don't know what the fuck this means. I don't know what his agenda is. If he has an agenda, I don't know what the purpose, I guess, of buying Twitter is. It seems like more work to me. I don't know. Seems like obviously you can. And what's weird about it is like. It feels like he's buying it in order to like change it so that like he can kind of be a gatekeeper. Yeah. But that's what I guess people like him. I don't know if I think he's a libertarian. I'm not sure. But that seems like kind of what they're against. So I don't know what his.
Yeah, I think his goal is data and information, right? Twitter has 200
makes cars.
So, but he has a lot of other businesses, right? Like. Yeah. Twitter's not his only Tesla is not his only business, right? But when you have 260 million daily active users, right? You can monetize that in a huge way. You can leverage your other brands, you can leverage other businesses and services. You just have access to more consumer data than I imagine he's had with like Tesla alone or like what does he have? Like Paylink and PayPal.
Yeah.
His SpaceX, he has more user information and data now than he's ever had, and he's going to be able to use that and leverage that across all of his like businesses and platforms. I think that's the goal.
I think the problem with that is I'm not sure if he can, right? Like because I think there has to be. We just talked about Joe Proctor a second ago. I am not a lawyer, nor do I claim to be one on TV, but. I don't think you could just take the data and shit that you get from Twitter and then just be like, we're just going to shoot that right into all of our other shit. I feel confident in saying that's probably illegal. Like,
I imagine there is a bit of like there's some legal loopholes though, that they're going to be able to leverage,
privacy,
right?
Yeah.
So it's like we're not necessarily like taking our consumer data and using it over here. Yeah. We're just integrating our systems. It's all under one umbrella. And I feel like that's how they're going to be able to do this thing. To say like, oh, they're not necessarily, they are two separate businesses, but under one parent company. So we can leverage data across businesses because it's under one umbrella.
Yeah. And shout out to the people, man. Bless their souls. The people who are like, oh my gosh, like the billionaires are starting to own everything. I'm like, wait, didn't the youngin who owned, the youngin who owned Twitter before was a billionaire? This isn't new.
It wasn't like a regular Joe Blow who was just like, I'm CEO of Twitter, living paycheck to paycheck. Like he was also He's been a billionaire for a long
Waiting
time.
for Friday to come. Like, I hope that direct
What's his name?
deposit hits.
Jack Dorsey is the former
Yeah, Jack
Twitter.
Dorsey. Yeah, he stepped down.
He stepped down.
Yo,
right,
why did
yeah.
he get out? Because he stepped down, and there was no like real conversation about like why. He was just like, yeah, I'm out of here, guys. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
that seemed mad sus to me.
I read an article about like some of the things he's doing. Like, I think he's very much like a philanthropist at this point.
Yeah,
and he's like,
so he just wants to get out of the game.
He's doing a lot of like heavy like data and tech investing in like Africa and in foreign countries. And I remember I was reading this article about him. He was
Whenever
like,
you hear about people, Westerners investing in Africa,
yeah,
it's
always it always feels like
always terrible.
Like colonization. A little
Yeah,
bit, right. So I know he's doing a lot of philanthropy stuff, and I think he's kind of like removed himself from like corporate Twitter, right? But he was very much like the face of the company and the voice of the company.
Yeah.
Either way, he's walking away with a couple bill. Like,
yeah, no,
people were surprised when the Jeff Bezos stepped down from Amazon, right, as acting CEO, and I'm like,
he's still making cash. He doesn't. It's
like,
not like he divested like his interest in it.
Yeah.
He just is like, I don't feel like running this shit.
And he's been doing it for 27 years,
Yeah.
right? And he's been a billionaire for like 7 of those years.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm gonna step down. I'm still cash king.
Yo.
I still have very much like control across the entire company.
Super quick question: how much is too much money? Like, I don't think I could live as Jeff Bezos. Like, that's just too much of everything. Like you know how people like they would give shit away just because like they want to give back or whatever. I'd have to give it away simply because I do not want that responsibility. That's a lot of money, a lot of people, a lot of things to keep track of. You gotta watch for which accountant is probably stealing from you. You gotta watch for fucking I don't know, whatever. Like it's just a lot to fucking like. It's just give me a nice cool couple $100 million.
Yeah,
give the rest away.
People
man.
think that like when you have that much money, you just like let it sit in a savings account and it'll be fine. Like you have to move the money around.
There's so much taxed, management.
Right? Like they literally have people who just manage. Like you might have the team of 10 people who manage your money for you,
and you have to be involved. Otherwise, they probably will be stealing from you at some point.
Yeah, I mean, shit. You heard the story that happened to Steve Harvey. Like his fucking accountant, he didn't know for years, end up stealing like $16 million from him.
Damn.
He had no idea.
How can somebody steal $16 million? Like, you know how much money you have to be making in order for you not to notice?
So he was like, at the end of the year, like when it'd be time to do his taxes, he was like, he would write the check and sign it and give it to his accountant, and his accountant would then supposed to be able to like give that money to the IRS and handle everything.
Oh shit, they never
his
gave
accountant was taking the money out of his account and putting it in his personal account. The money never went to the IRS. And then he found out because his accountant died, and his accountant's assistant reached out to like Steve Harvey's people or lawyers and was like, hey, we have a huge problem.
Oh shit.
All the money you've been
paying.
When
the fuck did this happen?
This was like a few years ago.
What?
Yeah. And there's basically, and then Steve Harvey was still on the hook for that money.
How do you die? Well, I guess we don't know. I don't know how the dude died, but how do you just die doing something that cruddy and just probably just sitting on the money? Like, what are you doing? Like,
so his assistant, the accountant's assistant who was handling Steve Harvey's money, she's allegedly the story goes, and this came from Steve Harvey's, that like she essentially found like a folder or a binder with all the checks that he wrote stapled to like the documents that were supposed to go to the IRS, but the accountant just never sent it.
Wait, and how was he able to avoid any sort of tax issue if he hadn't been paying tax? If you're fucking Steve Harvey and you just hadn't been paying taxes for the last, let's just argument say like 5 years, one would think that you're probably going to get audited. Like it should be due any second now that you're about to get audited. How does he avoid that?
I don't know. I don't know all the details and nuances. I was just listening to Steve Harvey. He was talking
maybe
about
his tax liability wasn't that much, and the accountant was just telling him, yeah, you owe $4 million in taxes when really he owed like $1.5 million in taxes,
maybe
some shit like that.
But either way, then I think Steve had to like end up paying that, like, and I'm just gonna I forget the exact number, but I know it was like it could have been like 16 million, it could have been like 20, 24, but he ended up having to pay the IRS that money because and like he was talking about like financial literacy, and his message was like, know what's going on with your money. Yeah,
you have to, dude. No wonder why he's signing all these goddamn deals to do all these shows, right? Fucking Family Feud, the Steve Harvey show,
Celebrity Family
podcast.
Feud, Steve Harvey. He's doing this. He's like, yo, I owe the IRS.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure he's got the money, but owing somebody 16 M's is still even 16 million is 16 million to Jeff Bezos.
Bruh, I couldn't sleep.
Yeah, oh my God. I would be hot. I would just wake up. I'd go piss on his grave every week, every Thursday.
Yo, that's crazy, dude. For you to be able to do that, that takes to do that consistent. I can sort of understand.
Like the first time
doing it like one time, like shit, I really need it. They won't notice it's gone. I'll put it back or something like that. But when you just do it for years, dude, you're on another level, dude. You don't care, yo. You might actually be a sociopath. All right, let's more headlines. So we get the first look at John Wick 4 with the poster. I don't know if you peeped this. Let me try to pull it up real quick because this. Hold on one sec.
I can't wait for this movie, man. I know you're not a major fan, but the cast looks great. So we got Keanu Reeves, we got Donnie Yen, we got Asia Kate Dillon, who I'm not sure if you've ever seen Billions, but she's in that show. Halle Berry is back in this film. Lawrence Fishburne is back. Keanu Reeves, the legend, is back. He's having a great couple of years. You know what I mean? You got Matrix Resurrections, the Batman movie that he's doing, John Wick 4.
The Batman?
Yeah, the new Batman movie that's coming out? The animated Batman movie? Where I think Kevin Hart's in it, The Rock, and the Kevin Hart and Rock, they play dogs, and then Keanu Reeves is voicing Batman.
Dogs?
Yeah. Dwayne Johnson plays like Superman's dog, right? So they're like super pets. And then Kevin Hart, I think he plays like Batman's dog or something like that.
Yeah.
It looks fucking great. I'm going to take my daughter to see it. Mostly because I want to see it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go to this theater alone. So
that's
I'm
fair.
like, hey, Camden, let's go.
She's like, I don't want to see Batman.
We're going to see it. Shut up.
But yeah, we get this nice little poster for John Wick 4. Yeah, dude, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of the John Wick series, but I did binge it maybe like a year ago. I binged John Wick, like the series. Better than what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just, I mean, and it kind of just is in terms of just like shoot 'em up, fucking just like Call of Duty, headshots. That's pretty much what it is, right?
Yeah.
But there is at least some nuance in it. Barely, but it's kind of there a little bit in terms of just like sort of the idea that like kind of like you're not going to sort of like outrun your past, that you're going to have to like sort of deal with your demons at some point in time. Or at least there's something like that sprinkled in there.
Yeah, I feel like it's a bit of like, you can't do what you do without eventually that thing like coming to your doorstep, right? Like you can't, in his case, he was an assassin who retired and went off and tried to live a normal life. But like you can't have done that type of work and expect violence to never find you. And that's what happened, right? And then he got thrust back into this life that like he kind of didn't want to. He just wanted the wife and the dog and the house, you know, up in the hills or whatever. But violence found him, and then he's like, all right, you know what? Like, if I kind of like I liken it to what happened with like Michael Corleone, right? It's like, I don't want to do this. I'm going to try my best to escape it. I'm even going to leave the life. But then it finds you, and now you're back in the business, and you're just like, all right, well, if I'm back, I'm back.
Yeah.
And it's like a bit of sophisticated violence. You know what I mean?
Sophisticated violence. Explain.
It's like, I'm going to, put on a suit and tie, and then we're going to have this shootout. Dress nice for the shootout.
All right. If you say
remember in like the second one, John Wick 2, him and Common, they were having that like shootout. And I think they were walking through the train station. They were like very much like, you know what, let's not disturb anybody else.
Man, that shit was fake as fuck.
Let's put these silencers on. And
like nobody's gonna notice like the hole that just appeared or the guy's not shot in the arm.
They paid at the terminal to get onto the train. Like they were very much like, oh, we don't want to disturb anyone, but like
that shit is ridiculous. I mean, but I guess it's supposed to be ridiculous, right? Like it's not meant to be sort of like this serious, like we're trying to do a character study and shit. It's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
It's going to be stupid. It's going to be crazy, but fuck it. We're going to have fun with it. Neon lights, everywhere for no reason.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Let's talk. So it was kind of weird. The director for, I don't know if you remember, because nobody does, the Mummy movie that Tom Cruise is in. Do you remember this?
Yeah. The most recent one.
Yeah. So the director for that film was Alex Kurtzman. And this was back in 2017. He recently, I guess, did an interview, and he called the movie the biggest failure of my life, both personally and professionally. Jesus Christ!
I appreciate the honesty, because that movie did suck. And
did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched it. It was not good at all. And
I think
I'm sure
actually
Brendan Fraser was at home watching that movie. Like,
no, he was happy. Like, oh yeah, okay.
I'm sure he was. It's like, you know what? Like, they didn't want to bring me back and
preserve the legacy. Yeah,
but my movies were better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he did those movies a full 20, 25 years ago.
Yeah, and despite all the
still fire.
Tom Cruise probably had a bigger budget, probably had more visual effects.
Yeah,
better technology,
Scientology behind them. Yeah,
despite all of that, the original 3 movies were still better.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. The original 2 movies were probably still better.
There was the Mummy. The Mummy Returns.
3 was
the Scorpion King.
No, no, that was when the Scorpion King sort of was born in that. But the first 2, the last one I remember was with Jet Li. Like, you remember, like, it was like with the Emperor, and then I think what's her name? She played Rachel Weisz. She I don't think she returned for that one.
So it was The Mummy in 1999. The Mummy Returns in 2001. Then you have The Mummy Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. That was with Jet Li.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah,
that one was dumb.
It wasn't great, but it was. I would say that movie was probably still better than the Tom Cruise one.
That's fair. So he also said, so I tend to subscribe to the viewpoint that you learn nothing from success and you learn everything from your failures. And The Mummy was probably the biggest failure of my life, both personally and professionally. And he said that there's a million things I regret. It gave me so many gifts that are inexpressibly beautiful. I didn't become a director until I made that movie, and it wasn't because it was well directed. It was because it wasn't. I am very grateful for the opportunity to make those mistakes because, now this is lost its place. Because it rebuilt me into a tougher person, and it rebuilt me into a clear filmmaker. I can appreciate shit like that, man. When you know something is just it's not the wave. And you're like, you know what? I'm not gonna let this deter me. It's gonna harden me and make me a better at my craft. Because there's a lot of people who they go through things like that and it breaks them. You know what I mean? And it
they never come back.
They never really come back from it.
It's like a quarterback who throws an interception and then he can't move past it.
Yeah.
So for the rest of the game, he's just making bad decisions or checking down, scared to throw the ball.
Yeah.
So in this situation, it's like, hey, I directed a shitty movie, but seeing
and
that,
putting it on himself too, because
some
he
people
will be like,
I
put out on the studio. Oh, they didn't let me do what I wanted to do. The movie would have been way different. He's like, no, and I'm pretty sure that's probably the way it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the studio, Universal in this case, I'm sure had a heavy hand in how the movie was sort of shaped. But for you to sort of put that on yourself nonetheless and say, I got to do better, and to have that perspective, I think is I got to big him up, big up him on that.
I admire anybody who can hold accountability, right? That's what it comes down to. If you're able to hold yourself accountable as much as you hold somebody else accountable, I can't fault you.
For sure. One more headline. So we got so watch out, Fast and Furious, because we've got Hot Wheels. Let me say that, Hot Wheels movie coming out.
Okay, I don't hate it.
The fuck do you mean you don't hate it? What the fuck is a Hot Wheels movie? What are we doing there? What's
there's been plenty of Hot Wheels animated movies that have come out.
Have there?
Is this like a Hot Wheels live action?
Yeah, Hot Wheels live action movie.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I thought you were talking about a new animated movie or something like that.
Sounded like Rick Ross.
Who's gonna be in this?
Apparently, they've got a few different people attached to it. So the big news is that J.J. Abrams, his production company Bad Robot, is going to be, I guess, producing the movie. Let me get some details here. So Mattel and Warner Brothers announced today that Bad Robot Productions, bless you, J.J. Abrams production company will produce the Hot Wheels movie. No plot details were revealed, but per the official announcement, the movie will bring to life this beloved multi-generational. I mean, is it though? Is Hot Wheels like they're cars? And I guess kids see car, but it's not like you go after the Hot Wheels. It's like, oh my god, I gotta have Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not.
You know what's crazy? I remember Hot Wheels as a kid, right? And I remember watching those commercials on TV where, like, the white kids would be playing in their like big ass bedrooms, and they'd be like, they'd have the whole setup, and the car would jump from one ramp to the other.
Mom, where's dinner?
Yeah, I always be like, damn, he has his own bedroom. That room is big as shit. And then he's got the whole Hot Wheels set, and we just couldn't afford that type of shit. So it's like, I never got into it, but I always I was, oh man, like a Hot Wheels set for Christmas would be dope when you're like 7 or 8 or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not against this movie, but I'm also like, it just seems like Hollywood is in like a huge dry spell.
And I don't think so.
And I don't know.
I think we have that perception because we're old enough to have like memories and shit, but Hollywood's basically doing the same shit it's always been doing, except for maybe more of it, I guess.
A lot more of it,
yeah.
Though. Like, we grew up, we saw the original Jurassic Park and, the original Fast and Furious movies and the original whatever. And then now we're at the point where it's like, yo, they're Fast 9, Jurassic Park, a whole new world. Like, yo, you just added a second new. Like, is that really what we're doing at this point? And then now they're just taking like toys or like books or video games that we used to play back then and say, oh, let's make the movie. Yeah. I'm not mad at some of it, but other parts of it, other bits and pieces seem like just a lack of creativity.
That's fair. But again, I would argue that creativity, when you're talking about Hollywood and like blockbuster movies and all that, it hasn't really been the forte of that, right? Like to be creative, to think a little bit more outside the box. It's basically just whatever sells, right? Whatever we know we can make money off of, whatever we can predict how much money we can make money off of, we're gonna go with. And I think that's kind of always been Hollywood, in one degree or another. Maybe it seems much more obvious and blatant now, but again, I think that's because of our age. Like we're old enough to have the memories of just like Hot Wheels. Like why?
Yeah, but like even if you're 10 years old, right? Like if you're 10 years old and you're like, oh, new Jurassic Park movie is coming out, that this is like the 8th one, right? So it's like there's so much shit that right now it's not new at all. Like we've seen a lot of this shit before. Yeah. They're doing it bigger and maybe different and telling like stories from different perspectives. Yeah. But we've seen a lot of this shit before.
Yeah. But kind of in keeping in line with this sort of children's toy sort of thing. I don't know. Does Mattel make Hot Wheels? I don't fucking know. But I know Greta Gerwig is coming out with Barbie.
Yep, you're right.
Mattel. Who, unless I'm mistaken, is another Mattel concoction. And that movie apparently has every Hollywood star on the planet in it. It has everybody in it. It's all being led by, I think, Margot Robbie is playing Barbie. But this is going to be so interesting because Greta Gerwig, she's an indie film darling, right? Everybody loves Greta Gerwig. Everybody remembers Lady Bird that she directed,
Lady Bird, but also
Little Women. And she obviously as an actress, she both acted as well as I think co-wrote a lot of movies, both with Noah Baumbach, and they're both writing this movie, or they wrote the movie Barbie. So it's going to be really interesting to see sort of what direction that they come in. I actually might be interested in that one, just because of sheer curiosity, because that's a weird pairing with something like Barbie, right? Because that's not what you would think is like this indie filmmaker maybe not in more recent years, but at some point in time, she was just purely like an indie filmmaker. But to kind of see that person sort of be lead the charge for this Barbie movie, and they're coming out with like all these movies. Masters of the Universe they're about to drop. I think they're coming. Vin Diesel for some reason is coming out with a Rock and Sock'em Robots movie.
Oh God.
I love these reactions. And
so we already got Real Steel. I feel like that was
that was it.
Which is not a bad
more,
movie.
yeah.
I feel like that movie gets shitted on, but like it wasn't terrible.
I honestly never watched it, but I just remember kind of seeing like either the commercials for it or maybe I even watched part of it and thinking, oh, it is basically just Rock'em Sock'em, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's literally just robots fighting.
Yeah, yeah. But anyways, so yeah, we have all that to look forward to, dude. Let's get to what we fucking came here for, dude. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Okay, we're not gonna waste any fucking time. Let's get to this fucking movie. Thoughts, go.
I thought this movie, I feel like we've had a lot of films recently that have dealt with like time and time travel and the space-time continuum and the multiverse, right? We got Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness coming out pretty soon. I thought this film took a very interesting take on it, and I loved how like meta it was. Like this film very much acknowledged the fact that like, hey, like this concept is kind of crazy. Spoiler alert, everything bagel. I feel like that is like, for me, that was the pinnacle of like, all right, I love that this movie is acknowledging like you can be silly when you deal with these like
absurd,
very complex. I don't even know what to call it. Like very like complex discussions around like time and travel and like the meaning of life and all of those things.
Yeah.
Right?
So this had to do specifically with not just like a multiverse, but kind of what they would call the many worlds theory, meaning that every decision that we make branches off into different sort of universes. So literally since the beginning of time, all of these different universes, every possibility is possible. We're just living the universe in which we made the decisions that we made.
Yeah. Every decision you make, the person you chose to be with, right? Like, did you break up? Did you stay with them? Did you go to this school? Did you go to that school?
Yeah.
Did you move to this city, or what would your life would have been like if you moved to LA instead of New York? All those different things. And I love this film's take on the multiverse, but what I really enjoyed about it was the humor behind it all, right? It had fun with this like very complex concept of space and time and all that stuff. What really, really made this movie like so amazing for me is the performances.
Yeah.
So Michelle Yeoh, I'm going to say Yeoh.
I mean, maybe you, but I'm not sure.
I apologize if I'm getting that wrong.
Yeah.
But so she played Evelyn Wang, absolutely stellar in this role. I mean, like from the first moment her character was introduced, like she was believable.
Yeah.
Right. I'm interested in this person and their story.
Yeah.
The Stephanie and her Sue. I'm gonna go with Sue.
I'm not sure.
Who played her daughter Joy Wang. Fucking phenomenal. Like throughout the movie, in my head, I'm like balancing and I'm debating like, all right. And I love the fact that the duality, right? She was able to play like 2-3 different characters, and like they were all believable. Like kind of like
she was kind of terrifying, honestly.
Yeah, like you were rooting for like in one scene you could root for her, and then literally in the very next scene you're like, yo, she's a pure villain.
Yeah.
And I think she played her role so well.
And shout out to her. She I don't know, I know you don't watch it, but I watched Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and she's in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I enjoy her in that as well. So shout out to her.
Yeah. Ki Hu Kwan, I believe. Yeah, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Who played Waymond Wang, the husband and father. Absolutely stellar. I mean, he played like 5 different characters.
They all did.
From different universes throughout this film. He did it so well. Jamie Lee Curtis was stellar. Jenny Slate was pretty funny, and I feel like that was a
weird. I thought that was a weird addition.
It was a callback to like there's another show she's on, and like that was a part of this. So her character, like the big nose girl with the dog, she is a character from like another show, I believe that Jenny Slate does.
I mean, the only one I remember her from, speaking of shows specifically, is Parks and Recreation. But
I
I'm
don't
not
think
sure
it's
if that's
Parks
it's
and
not.
Recs.
It doesn't seem like it was that one.
There's another show that, but it was like a callback to that, which was really interesting.
Yeah.
Not Big Mouth. That's the animated one. Anyway, so I love the humorous take on this show. There was lots of action, which I didn't really expect.
Yeah.
It was super meta. I liked how it dealt with like things that were going on today, but it also hit you emotionally. Like there were a lot, like the relationship between Evelyn Wang and Joy Wang. Like it was very, very like, it pulled you in emotionally. So it's like this movie hit on all of the things that like a great movie hits on.
Yeah.
The emotion, the humor, the engagement, the character. What is it called when you the character
Development?
No, not development. Like the
Arc?
The exam, like those like small micro examinations of like a character.
Oh,
who this person
character
is, character study.
Yeah.
I feel like it really, really hit on all of those details. Loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be hard for me to sort of like condense everything that I want to say about this movie down to, just a few different thoughts. But so I was talking to a shout out to Dan, by the way. Hope you're listening to this. Hopefully you've watched the movie before you heard this. But so I was texting him the other night, and we were texting actually about the Batman. And then I got around to saying, hey, I saw this movie, and I think it actually it maybe time will tell, but I'm pretty sure this is my new favorite movie of all time.
This is on my top 5 list.
Yeah. And I was telling like before it was actually The Fifth Element, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe not in so many in recent years. I would probably say in more recent years, probably not. I've kind of fallen out of The Fifth Element being my favorite movie of all time. But the reason why The Fifth Element was my favorite movie of all time for the longest time was because it's an absurd movie that has everything that I could want in a movie. It's got a little bit of action. It's got a little bit of comedy. It's got some drama. It's got dialogue. And again, it's an absurd movie. The music is amazing in The Fifth Element. Love it. Fantastic. This movie though, Everything Everywhere All at Once, it is a purely absurd movie, right? The premise is absurd. The way that they convey, how they're trying to navigate this world is absurd. The different universes we kind of jump to, they're absurd.
The hot dog finger.
Hot dog finger was fucking classic.
And then I love how they went back to like the begin, like the caveman.
Yeah,
like,
this is how it happened.
We're gonna go that far back.
Yeah, two rocks talking to each other, and how that could be so emotionally just charged somehow. This movie, the reason why I feel like it has supplanted. And again, maybe in recent years, Fifth Element maybe isn't necessarily my favorite movie, but I would say that historically, that's what I always said was. The reason why it supplanted it is because the emotional punch that this movie has is profound. I think everybody needs to see this movie. And the reason why I say that is because rarely do you see a movie. This is honestly, and I'm just going to kind of let the cat out of the bag. This is kind of the idea that I had, for in terms of exploring the many worlds theory, and to have it sort of take this sort of emotional turn like this. But I don't think I could have ever achieved the comedy that this movie achieves, the style in which it achieves. It just does everything. I would say flawlessly, but it's not flawless. But it has all these blemishes. But the blemishes are there, I think, strategically and on purpose.
Because like that, I feel like the blemishes are just like realistic, right? It's like
the blemishes are like absurd. Like the whole idea of this is silly to begin with. So it's kind of like the movie leans into it, but somehow still retains.
For me, it was like a sense of realism, right? Like I believe this story, and not. Like, I believe that like there could be a universe in which like maybe the different versions of ourselves are trying to like speak to or maybe that's like the signs that we get throughout our days, right? Throughout our daily lives. Or like a thought you may have and you're just like, where did that come from? When you hear something, you're like, I feel like I've heard that before, but where did it come from?
Well, I've recently had this sort of thought is, every time I see somebody who's, on the street and they're bugging out, they're obviously maybe drugs have something to do with that, and maybe drugs are a gateway to other universes and things like that. But I always think, what if they're just like the people who we see on the streets talking to themselves and doing this, doing that, what if they're like living lives in like other universes and somehow their bodies are just like trapped here? You know what I mean? So in the other universe, they're actually going through things just kind of like Evelyn did, right? Where she'll be living in one universe, but still sort of tied to this, I guess, universe prime, the whatever universe that she, the Evelyn that we know is in.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it's funny that you think that, because like whenever I see like someone like in like despair, someone who's like addicted to drugs, like if you're driving down the street and you see like someone sleeping on the curb or clearly high on a certain type of drug, like I know that like I always try and help as much as I can. I actually stopped at the gas station today and there's a guy outside. I'm like, dude, I don't have any money for you, but I'll buy you a meal. And like, I'd always like to believe that those people, like maybe in another universe, in another life, in another reality, are doing very well,
dude. But back to my point about why everybody needs to see this movie is because I have yet to see a movie like this that's able to convey in such a weird, but just, it pulls you in, right? Like I don't really care who you are. I feel like you're going to find something you enjoy about this movie, right? You're going to find the comedy aspect. You're going to find the emotional aspect, like the concept of just a mother and a daughter who are just not connecting, and are trying to sort of work it out, with themselves. But everybody would need to see this movie because it's true, the message that it's trying to convey, which is, we are all super judgmental about everybody else, right? We are all extremely critical of everybody else. But in any other universe, we might be one decision off from either ending up like somebody else or experiencing the experiences that somebody else, and that different universe can be wildly different from who you are now. But all it takes is one or two decisions going this way or that way to make everything completely different, And I think that's such a powerful message because all we do, and this goes for everybody. I'm not just talking about right wingers. I'm not just talking about people on the left. I'm talking about for everybody, right? Because the reason why this is part of the reason why this is especially. I guess I don't know what the word is, especially meaningful for me is actually the husband, Wei-Wen Wong, right? So he was saying like she might use, she thinks he's weak because he doesn't use his like fist to fight, or he doesn't, but he's like, I do fight. It's just
I just fight in a different way.
I just fight a different way, and that's so profound, man. Like that. We like with all of the discourse that takes place in our society these days, it feels like people look at you as weak if you don't engage in that, or if that's not the way that you're choosing to fight for your causes.
Yeah, but if you don't fight back, you're weak.
Exactly.
If you cry, you're weak.
But
if you're emotional, you're weak. But like those things also take a certain strength, right? To cry and say, hey, you know what, I'm perfectly fine with displaying this emotion, and like I'm going to be better for it. Like there's strength in that.
There is strength in that, but in addition to that, what happens is, what did Evelyn? If we look at Evelyn's story arc, right? She goes from, obviously she's trying to figure out what's going on to figuring out, okay, I've got to fight here. I got to fight for, to make sure I stop essentially like her daughter. But then she realizes that fighting doesn't really change anything. All it does is just continue the same cycle. There's nothing about the situation that changes, really, right? Yeah. And I think that's what I'm starting to come to the realization of myself, is that if you spew the same hatred at other people as they're spewing to you, there's no amount of hatred you can spew at them that's enough to try to like eclipse. To try to change like the scenario. Yeah. The scenario stays exactly the same, right? In fact, all you're doing is just creating the same circumstances for them that you have experienced yourself, right? So why not take a different tact? Why not, instead of trying to, and what happened, how did Evelyn sort of overcome and start, sort of conquering things, right? Or not even conquering, but like helping the situation is when she empathized with the people and the issues that they had as people. Instead of just pounding them, with her fist, she said, how do I solve your problem?
Yeah.
What do you got going on? Like, why did you turn out the way, like, why are you fighting me right now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let's talk about this shit.
I love how that was like a weapon in and of itself.
Yeah,
It's like I'm
man.
fighting negativity with positivity.
Yeah.
So instead of like, instead of throwing a punch back at you, let me dodge your punch.
Let me talk
and
to
then
you, man.
say, hey, what's going on? Like, how can we fix this problem?
Yeah.
And I love the fact that like throughout this movie, it forces you to think of like, all right, in a different universe, if you had made different decisions, how would your life have been, right?
Yeah.
If you were gay in a different universe, if
Yeah.
you were a different gender in a
Which
different
was
universe.
awesome, man. Evelyn turned out to be gay in a different universe,
Yeah.
which was like, oh man. And how many people rail against gay people, but you just know that if conditions were right, maybe they make this decision, that decision, maybe they just met the right person or whatever, that they'd be gay too.
Yeah. And
but
I'd love to like talk to the people who are like anti-gay or the people who are racist or sexist or ageist, whatever you're against.
Yeah.
If you were able to see yourself in a different universe and you were that thing, would you still feel the same way?
Yeah.
And if so, why?
Yeah.
Some people may still say, you know what, in this universe, I'm still like against gay people. I'm still against.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people who are the thing, right? There's some people who black are like, I hate black people, or the people who like whatever the case is, like I hate the thing. So it's possible, but
yeah, you're not gonna reach everybody.
It's rare,
but it is like an interesting discussion.
Yeah,
some people can have it openly and honestly. Other people probably not so much.
Yeah,
but it is something that I like to think about from time to time. Like in a different universe, if I had made a different decision, like I could be, like when you're in that moment when you're judging someone or you're criticizing someone, it's like I could be in that position.
Yeah, and
like maybe I don't judge, maybe I empathize.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying I'm perfect, and I do that in every situation
for sure.
But like I, from time to time, and like this movie really definitely helped me like kind of like keep, just because I love this movie so much. Yeah. Now that's in like the forefront of my mind, or at least it has been over the past couple of days or a week or two since I've seen it. And it's like in a different universe, like I'm a different person. I made different decisions. I may be of a different skin color. I may be a female. I may be, I'm probably still a baby in another universe. Like, like little, I'm probably a dog in another universe. Like little things like that. And it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, not to extend the conversation, past what it should be, but for every and I feel like this movie almost deserves for us to talk about it twice. One from just like this, hey, this is what we think about it standpoint, and then two from like a technical standpoint. Because I honestly do feel like I even have to watch it again in order to try to pick up on some of the things that I didn't pick up on the first time. There's just so much in this movie. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I'm not gonna lie, there are some moments in it. There are some stretches of time where it kind of drags. At least for me, it dragged at least like a little bit. But all in all, I'd say this is a brilliant movie with a message. And this is how I felt about the Batman after watching the Batman. Is that I felt like I'm really fucking into, and this is why I've kind of gotten away of just like the action, shoot 'em up, yada yada, is because I want a movie to have something to say. Like you have 2 hours, say something with it. You know what I mean? Like something for, as Kanye once said, some people who still speak from their soul, and I feel like this movie was speaking from somebody's soul. Dan Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name, were the ones who directed and wrote the movie. I feel like they were speaking from their soul with this, and they were trying to say something that was deeply personal and sentimental to them. Yeah. And you see it pouring through the movie, so there's so much more we can talk about with this movie, but I just have to, I guess, sum up in saying that it's an amazing movie. Again, for the longest time, The Fifth Element was my favorite. I would say there's a movie called Ruby Sparks that I don't know if that was my favorite so much as I just adored the fuck out of the movie. But this particular movie, I would have to say, you're gonna have to find them. You're gonna have to convince me with telling me another movie's better than this. I've
seen a lot of great movies recently. Yeah, and it's just like it's a discussion of like where does this fall on my list? Is it top 10? Is it top 25? For me, this movie definitely goes in the top 5 right away.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
it's 5, I don't know if it's 4, I don't know if it's 3 or 2, but like it's in my top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
So much so, I fucking love the actual poster art
Yeah.
for this project. Like
Yeah.
I want to get that. I want to get like a canvas print or painting of the poster because
Yeah.
even that, like, you gotta take it. I'm not sure if you've like really looked at it. You gotta
Yeah.
take a second to
let me try
examine
to
all of it.
pull up.
There's so much detail in it, and like you can even see like the kind of like the duality, like the upside down Evelyn's and the all the things and the people that are surrounding her throughout this film. It's fantastic. I want to get this print out and I want to put it on my wall. Also, just great colors and it looks cool as fuck.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the almost like a Beatles album cover. I forget what album cover it was. I want to say Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club. I think it was where it just kind of had like a weird collage of like everything.
Yeah, I know what you mean by
poster. Hold on, let me try to get it on the screen here so we can show it for the good folks.
that one right there.
People at home, yeah. Hold on, let me get a bigger version of it because I don't want this to be a young ass.
Like I also I want to know who did the artwork. I think when you watch a film sometimes, and like they have these like really cool posters, right? Like who did the graphic work, the poster work for like Moon Knight? I love that shit. It looks fly as fuck. Like whoever did Moon Knight or Doctor Strange.
Yeah, we got to talk about Moon Knight too. That last episode was serious, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of lukewarm on Moon Knight until that last episode. I'm all in now. That shit was fire, dude.
Yeah, I love everything Moon Knight's doing so far.
Yeah, let's pull up this thing right here.
So I don't think we're gonna have all time to get into like all the detail of it, but if you just look at the bottom, you got Evelyn in the bottom center. You've got what's her character's name? Jamie Lee Curtis's character, bottom right. The daughter left, and then if you flip this whole thing over,
I believe it was like Deidre or, Deidre or Deidre, something like that.
Ugh, I should know this. Deidre. Yeah, she's a crazy name. Boubadir or something like that. Boubadir. But like, there's just so much detail in this. It's beautiful colors. I love how like all of like the different like elements throughout this, they're kind of like interacting with each other in this like, really cool, interesting way. There's a duality. The two Evelyns that you see here, one is kind of like looking up at the other, and the other is very much like centered. Like you feel like one is like kind of like lost, and the other is very much like I know exactly where I am. Yeah. So
yeah, just beautiful, man.
I spent some time looking at this, which is why I say I love it so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I probably want to get this print out and put it on my wall.
Fucking dope, dude. Fucking dope, man. Fantastic movie. I think that's the most we can we can say about it. It's just every now and then you come across a movie that just moves you, and this movie moved me in such a way. When you told me that you cried in the theater, watching
and I'm not
this,
even upfront about that.
Yeah,
like, it was the scene where like Evelyn and her daughter, they're like arguing, and they're at the car.
Yeah. It got everybody. Everybody was in it.
The daughter was like so much is like I need to leave, I need to go, I need like you like not necessarily like you hold me back, but like being around you makes me feel like I'm not who I truly am. Yeah. And the mom was just like, I'm gonna let you go, but then at the same time it's like.
Nah,
like I choose you. In every universe, I choose you.
Yeah, nah, dude. I was looking around because I was. I'm not gonna lie. The faucet was running at that particular time, and I was looking around, man. You hear the sniffles, and then everybody.
you hear, mostly it was the men.
So in my throat.
It's the acid that got me.
But anyways, I can't recommend this movie enough, man. Go watch it. Is the only thing I can really fucking say about it. Go watch the movie, experience it, and everybody fucking go watch this movie. I truly do feel like the message that it's trying to send, although some people might be like, oh, this is too much for me. Like when she started, I can tell you the exact moment that I was like, oh man, some people are going to be like, nah, this movie ain't for me. It's when she turns the daughter turns it, I forget what she had in her hand originally, but she turns it into dicks. Like a dildos. Oh, yeah. And she starts like, I was like, yeah, a lot of people are going to be like, I'm off this ride.
I feel like Peter is like when Johnny Slate was using the dog as a weapon. Like Peter's like, whoa.
what are we doing? Like I know it's not a real dog, but shit,
yeah. But they're just looking for something to fight against.
But anyways, let's move forward, man. I adore that movie. I can't talk about it enough. I'm sure at some point in time, probably this next week, maybe we'll do more detailed, more technical conversation around the movie, Everything Everywhere All the Time. I'm sorry. I keep saying that. That's definitely not the name of the movie. Everything Everywhere All at Once is the name. Here, let's check forward here, man. We're gonna watch this trailer real quick. Apparently, MGK, Machine Gun Kelly, is coming out with a movie. It's called Good Morning, but it's called the morning is spelled like mourn somebody, you know.
MOURN.
Yeah. So it follows London Clash, a movie star whose world is turned upside down when he must choose between pursuing his one true love and landing a life-changing starring role in a major motion picture. This is starring, of course, Colston Barker, a.k.a. Machine Gun Kelly, a.k.a. MGK. Written by him as well, starring him as well as a slew of other people. Of course, Megan Fox is in it at least for a little bit. Becky G, Dove Cameron, along with a lot of other people.
Yeah, there's a fuck ton of people in here. Whitney Cummings, love Whitney Cummings. Pete Davidson's in this project.
Yeah. Basically, he called all his friends.
All
and
his
was
friends.
like, come through. And this is due out May 20th of this particular year. Let's check this trailer out.
Kanye is gonna see this movie.
Probably. Just throwing fucking.
Oh shit, my man Gata is in this movie.
Yeah.
From the show with Little Dicky on Hulu.
Dave,
yeah.
I never watched.
You never watched Dave? It's funny as fuck. But his boy Gata.
Yeah, I gotta represent for Atlanta. I can't betray them. I feel like I'm betraying them when I watch Dave.
Nah, you can watch both. You can watch both.
All right, let's check the trailer out.
This is my impersonation of Draco Malfoy looking for drugs.
Where's the pot, Potter? Anyone know the number to 911?
Yo, what was that one?
Like Game of Thrones or something. I'm trying to get on one of those shows.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
This is serious shit.
My name is London Clash. I'm an actor on this show called Good Bad People. This is Apple. We've been dating for a year.
I can't stop thinking about her. Good morning with the you. What the fuck?
Yo, does this look like a breakup text to you?
Yes.
We're getting your energy right, man.
Oh, shit.
You're an idiot. I hope you find your girlfriend.
About fucking time. Hi.
Can you push this meeting?
No, I cannot push the meeting with the director of Batman.
Apple's like breaking up with me.
The only thing that will never break your heart is money.
Jesus Christ.
That hoe is loyal. You feel me?
Oh, my God. Movie man!
What's up, Barry? Yo, did you see Apple?
Yeah.
Did she say where she was going?
She did. She actually... No, are you fucking crazy? That's hey! Not necessary, sir.
I'm gonna text you.
Yeah, that would be good. I will kill you!
Our boy is in trouble. This is how we fix everything. We're on a mission. Start your engines.
Man, quit acting like a bitch. Smoke me!
I don't want to.
This has been the weirdest day at work ever.
I got this. You a cool cop or something?
Yeah, Stony Smurf. Get over here.
I trusted you!
This is the worst day of my life.
Yo! Hey!
Do you want to be in love, or do you want to be the biggest star in the world?
Oh, shit. It's time to party!
Oh, my God.
What is this, dust?
That's people, man.
This movie's gonna shoot itself.
I'm gonna shoot myself.
Drake has a huge snake.
I don't think that's Drake.
Was that actually?
God.
You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of what's that movie with Joe Proctor? What's his name? Jerry Ferrera.
Yeah. Entourage.
Entourage. Yeah. This is like Entourage if they were
MGK.
Like millennials. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. MGK, Pete Davidson, their Entourage. Right?
Yeah.
You know what? I don't really care for MG. I used to love MGK, like his first album. I think like
That's a strong way to describe how you felt about MGK.
Not love. I used to really, really like MGK. His first album, I think
I don't know anybody
who's ever
like
said
that. Yeah.
His first album was fire.
Yeah.
And then Eminem dissed him, and then like he just took a left turn. He was like, "Yo, this rap shit's not for me."
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. He came back at an M and it was a proper response. And
it was a decent. His response was kind of like, "Yo, like, why are you dissing me though? Like,
old man.
Oh yeah, you're old. You're dissing me. I'm sorry." Like, it was a good comeback or a good response at least.
Yeah.
But like after that, he just went on like he started doing like country music and rock and roll.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was more
whatever he
rock
wants
stuff.
to do, as
yeah.
long as he's happy, he's exploring music creatively. But he's just kind of been like annoying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I haven't really cared for him or anything he's done recently. But I gotta say, this movie doesn't look too bad.
This
in
movie.
theaters, fuck no. But if it's like streaming on HBO or Hulu or something like that, I'll watch it.
Yeah. Sorry, my headphones.
Mostly for like the guest appearances. I just want to see who else is going to be in this movie.
Yeah, it looked like just kind of I mean every like maybe every 3-4 years you'll get like a stoner movie, right? Like where they're just doing hella drugs. Nothing really makes sense in the movie. There's really no plot. It's just a bunch of people getting fucking high and shit. Seems like what this movie kind of is, which is okay. I don't know if I'd expect too much more from MGK.
I would be surprised to see this and like and maybe a lot of this is there where like maybe there are some really like emotional parts of it. I imagine there's gonna be a lot of humor in this movie. Probably gonna be some action. Some shit's gonna blow up. Catch on fire, probably some shootings, but like I would be surprised if there was some like really genuine dialogue or like emotional, or if like there's like a deeper message in this film. So I'm not gonna like shit on it quite yet.
There's something going on with your mic. I don't know if you need to pull it closer or something.
Not quite hitting.
Yeah, go ahead and tap on that for me.
Tap.
All right, keep talking. I'm sorry.
So I'm not gonna completely shit on this movie. It looks halfway decent. I'm not going to go to theaters to see it, but if it's like streaming on any particular streaming service, I'll give this a try. And I don't see that it's going to be on any streaming service. So I'm imagining this is coming to theaters May 20th, 2022.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm surprised it didn't like land sooner on like 420 or something like that. That would have seemed a little bit more appropriate. But May 20 is good too.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with it. I'm not sure exactly where it's coming out to. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with your mic. It's the audio seems to drop for some reason. But anyways, yeah. So that was Good Morning from MGK. And honestly, I'm not going to hate on him, man. It takes so much to make a movie, even though it seemed like he called it every favor of his life. But good for him, man, because it takes a lot to just make any project. Even if you have a leg up, even if you've, got seemingly all the resources in the world, it still takes a lot of fucking effort to make a movie. So I guess good one on him, man. Good one on him. Let's check another trailer out, and then we might call it a night. Let's check this second. Well, I'll give you the option. What do you want to do? Do you want to watch this Lightyear trailer, or do you want to talk a little bit about Netflix? I'll leave that up to you.
Are you in love with Lightyear?
I don't really care about it. Yeah.
Me neither.
Yeah, all right. Let's
if
move on.
you're interested in Bud Lightyear and you like all that shit, there's a movie coming out. I have seen the trailer.
And plus, we've already reviewed the first trailer, so this would be.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah,
check it out.
Sure. Yeah, and honestly, I'm not. I know this is like blasphemy to say, but I'm not really that much of a Toy Story fan. Like, it had its run.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. With the first and second one.
Yeah, you got a friend in me.
Yeah,
the first two, love
fire.
Them.
Yeah,
anything after that, I think I don't know. I think like after you get your like first hand job or blow job, like you kind of like move on.
What does that even mean? Why is that?
I'm just thinking back to the time in which I was watching this, like when the first one came out. Not the first one. I didn't get handies then.
Okay,
but like by the second Toy Story, I was getting handies.
Were you? You were like 7 then.
No. When did Toy Story 2 come out? Let's do the math here.
It didn't come out in the 2000s. That was during the 90s.
I don't know. All right, 4 came out. Yeah, okay. Maybe it was by. Yeah. It was. See what? Yeah. I was right. Okay. So Toy Story 2 that came out in 1999. Yeah. Loved it. Great movie. Toy Story 3 didn't come out until 2010. by that time I'd graduated
You
high
said
school.
2.
No, what I meant, I said I enjoyed 1 and 2. By the time 3 came out,
Oh, okay.
I was, fucking around with girls and stuff like that. And
Fair
I'm
enough.
not watching Toy Story 3.
I mean,
I
no,
fuck with these hoes.
I'm all for watching the movie. What I'm trying to say is like I felt like there just wasn't really that much story there. We kind of explored everything we could have with these characters.
Yeah, I don't even remember what Toy Story 3 was.
Dude,
about.
I have no idea.
Same thing happened with Harry Potter. Like by the first like 2 movies and 2 books, I was just like,
well, at least that is like a movie or a set of movies that's based off of like a book or something like that. So there's like kind of like a linear story you're following. I feel like with Toy Story, they're just like, what can we do next with these motherfuckers? You know what I mean?
The toys get lost. The toys get stolen.
And then they get lost and stolen.
Introduce new toys. All right.
Old toys that become new toys.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, guys. I think we've explored
I mean, good
everything
for
we
them.
could.
They found a way to make like 6 of these movies.
Yeah. And we said we weren't going to talk about it, and yet we are talking about it.
Anyway, we got to talk about something
so
more
Netflix.
important.
Yeah. Dude, I don't, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I haven't been able to pour through, everything that's going on and precipitated the very sharp decline in Netflix's stock. But essentially, from what I understand, it's born in their quarterly numbers, especially I think for the first quarter of 2022, were not as good as they were hoping it would be, which is why their stock dropped at least 25%, and I think it's still falling now. Their stock price, which is, for those who don't understand, not good for Netflix, that their stock price is falling. And you know what the weird thing is? The really fucking weird thing is that I think people are unsubscribing because of this, which I find to be weird.
Yeah. So that is true. 30%. So stocks plummeted 30% to the tune of about like $40 billion in like the company's like market value, right?
You said 40%?
Yeah. So
damn.
that's a lot of money.
Somebody woke up in a panic. Like, wait, what?
Now, what happens in this situation is like anytime an initial like company announcement or company change happens, people get scared, stocks drop. That's just what happens. But it'll eventually steady, and then you'll see stocks go back up because the company still has value. People still believe in it. Consumer confidence will steady and then rise back up. Right now. The interesting thing about this is, like, you're right? A lot of people canceled their memberships because Netflix announced that they were going to start, implementing like password or blocking password sharing or charging people for sharing passwords across multiple devices, households, so on and so on. So people got scared, maybe started canceling their membership, started going to other streaming services. They're anticipating, or at least this article says that they're anticipating 2 million users to also cancel their memberships. But I don't think this is an entirely bad thing for Netflix. I think Netflix, when they did this, they were aware of the fact that, like, hey, we're going to lose a lot of subscribers, mostly people who are using our service but not actually paying for it. Hopefully we lose a lot of them, forcing those people to then sign up for their own memberships, right? If they had a show that they were watching or if they enjoyed the program, maybe we'll get them off of the sharing service or sharing their passwords, but get them to sign back up and we'll regain our value there. What I thought was really interesting about this is where they decided to test it. It's like, Leo, and I'm not saying these countries are, not, I'm not saying they're like shitty countries or whatnot, but they're like, I don't think they're like, first world countries where Netflix may have had like a bigger impact. Like they didn't test this in like London,
Well, that's
like
why.
in the United States. They were like, let's test this in Chile, Costa Rica, and Peru. Right? I'm like, oh, those is kind of fucked up to test it in those countries. So I thought that was really interesting. But a big part of this too is they're also testing ways to like regain membership. So like maybe paying like an extra couple of dollars a month. And maybe it might have like a ad service, kind of like what Disney Plus does with Hulu. If you have like the lower tier service, you can still get Hulu. You just have to watch an ad every now and then. I don't think that's a bad thing, but I think there's more strategy behind this with Netflix than like it would seem like on the surface.
I would say yes, but I think it's I think they thought. I'm not sure what their long-term game plan was. And when I say that, I'm saying like naturally at some point you're going to not like it's crazy to think that you're going to continue at the pace you're going, because at some point nobody wants Netflix anymore. Like, and I'm not saying that people who have Netflix don't want it anymore. What I'm saying is like at some point you're going to reach a number that's like some sort of equilibrium of you're not going to get a lot bigger than you are. So the question then becomes is like, well, how are you going to sustain, revenue streams? Because say you reach a number of people who have Netflix, who you've reached everybody you possibly can, then there's going to be some fall off, right? When you can't really grow anymore and there's still fall off, well, what do? Well, you have to find the people who want Netflix and just are all about Netflix. They're just never going to drop Netflix. But either you charge those people more or you force them to watch ads. That's pretty much your only two options there. And for the longest time, they've just kind of kept creeping the price up for Netflix. But one, eventually you're going to get to a point where people are like, I just can't afford to fucking keep paying 20 some odd dollars for this shit that I don't watch like every day, because I don't know who watches Netflix every fucking day, At this point for me, it's just like any other streaming service where I don't know if unless I hear like Ozarks, right? That's coming back, so I'll definitely watch that. But it's rare that I'm like looking for Netflix on purpose. Sometimes it's like I'm bored tonight. Let's just streaming service surf, right? Like let me surf and see what's out
Hop
there.
around a little bit, see what's where.
Exactly.
What's new, blah blah blah. Yeah.
So at some point you're going to get to a price point where I just can't do that. I'm just like it's not worth it for me to do that anymore. So I'm not sure what their long-term strategy was originally, because it's like, well, why not incorporate this, especially when all those other streaming services were kind of in the beginning stages. Mm-hmm. That would have been kind of the perfect time to implement some sort of tier where you've got ads and things like that.
It seems like this decision came late.
A little late in the game. It seems like it's more.
There's so many more options. If you do something like this, if you take something away from me that I've been used to for so long, and now I have fucking 10 other options, I may be inclined to at least test those out for a while before I come back to you. Where when Netflix was, king of the hill, and you only had like one or two other options that clearly weren't as good, that would have been the perfect time to do it. So I'm curious to see like what this strategy was, but I imagine there is a strategy, and they're saying, hey, we know we're going to take a stock dip, we're going to lose a lot of subscribers. Because we have great content, we have a lot of like upcoming, really great upcoming shows. We anticipate those subscribers will come back. But I do think one of the things that they're going to have to do is there's got to be some type of partnership. There's got to be like Netflix and this, right? Disney Plus gives you Disney, Hulu, and ESPN. If you go up to the next tier, you can get live TV via Hulu. Yeah. Peacock and HBO, I feel like they give you different offerings.
So I heard this, and I'm not gonna lie, I was watching the John Campion show, and they brought up a good point that so the problem is that a lot of these other services, they make their money not from the service itself, but from like other shit, right? Disney makes their money from amusement parks, not streaming services, Amazon doesn't make their money from streaming service. They make their money from doing Amazon shit,
Yeah.
Apple, they make their money from fucking technology and shit,
devices, products.
So Netflix is in a hard spot because this is their business,
Yeah.
So for them to like partner with somebody else, for them, like that's a huge commitment that they're already well over leveraged, you know?
They better get into like the fucking
fucking Coke game.
Yeah, like if you get the tier 1 subscription for like $39.99,
you get a dime bag.
We'll ship you some greenery. We're not selling you drugs.
Yeah, it just comes. Yeah, it comes with the territory. We're not.
Or they better partner with like a liquor company like Netflix and Hennessy.
Because I've been said this. What I truly do feel like what they should do is partner with theaters. Actually, partner with theaters and change the movie going experience. Meaning that, hey, if I order this movie, right? There's a new movie coming out, and don't want to necessarily go to the theaters, but I want to watch it at home. I can pay a little extra, watch it at home, get the food delivered to me at home. Maybe there's some other perks in it. I don't know what else we can throw in there, but just like, like I feel like there needs to be some sort of marriage between streaming and the theater, industry, and whoever is going to be the first to get to that sort of place where it's a true sort of like ecosystem. I feel like they're going to make out like fucking bandits because it's ripe. Yeah. The conditions are just right to have some model like that work perfectly.
During the pandemic, Netflix did like the Netflix like parties, right? Where you can join the stream and like there'd be like 1,000 other people on the stream watching the same show, same episode at the same time. There's like a chat feature in there. I feel like if you're able to do something like that with theaters, maybe like for this final season of Ozarks, right? What if they did like a weekly episode in like select theaters around the country, where you can go watch the final few episodes of Ozarks on the big screen?
Because they did that with like Game of Thrones and shit, right? Like you could watch Game of Thrones like at a theater, like those. I think the last like episode.
Could you? Yeah.
I think so. I'm not sure. I forget exactly.
That'd have been cool though. I'd probably went and did that shit. If it's like, especially a show like Game of Thrones, right? Where it's like, yo, these are the final episodes, and I want the theatricality of it all. Yeah. So would I go to the theaters and maybe pay like, let's say it was like reduced price tickets, of course, like $5, $6, $7. Would I do that? Absolutely.
And honestly, that's actually a really great idea because it's all profit at that point because you're going to show it for free anyways. So it's like, fuck it, make a buck off.
Yeah. So you're getting their subscription, and maybe like a part of it is that you have to have a Netflix subscription. Yeah. Right. Or the subscription has to be like you have to be the account holder. Yeah. Right. So someone who doesn't have someone who may be using a password can't go see it. They have to see it at home, and then that might entice them to like sign up themselves to then be able to see it in theaters with their friends.
Yeah, because I'm not really like I don't know if there's that many things I'd be pressed to go see it at theaters, but I know like if it's something that I fuck with, and it's like the last thing of it. Mm-hmm.
Listen, we're recording this. We have this. Listen, I cannot. Listen, I can't wait. I'll settle out of court. I don't want to see this. I don't want to battle their lawyers.
No. Let's settle early. Yeah. Let's settle out of court.
See me a free membership for life. A little bit of change. You know what I mean?
What do you think? Small. I think biggie. Cut me the check. I don't want to.
Well, no. The check too, but I do still want free Netflix for life if you're using my idea. So people at Netflix, man. Let's talk.
Well, let's talk, man. Yeah, man. That's about it, man. That's all we got for you guys. Yeah. So we're gonna try to make this Monday thing work. It's a little stressful at the moment, but we're making it work. Yeah. I know we'll find new schedules. Yeah, for sure, man. But thoroughly enjoyed this episode, man. If you guys enjoyed the episode too, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button, share the shit with anybody and everybody. With that being said, man, I think we'll go ahead and get the fuck out of here, man. We got some things to do. But not before we hit the usual.
Fade out.
Yo, peace the fuck out. Enjoy your weeks.